What's up, everybody? It's Darkside from the MotoX Pod Show and Vital MX. With this podcast, we're going to visit with Shane McElrath, who just recently signed a fill-in deal with the Muc-Off FXR ClubMX Yamaha team. So enjoy. Shane, man, you just announced yesterday, I believe, a new deal.
Yeah, so I'm on team number 3 for the year, and I'm just making my way through the industry and getting to meet a lot of new people and get to work with people I've already known for a while, and yeah, just trying to keep moving forward.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about a few of these things. So you had the fill-in ride with Factory Husky, and you knew it was probably supposed to be a 4-race deal. It turned into 8. Yep. But at the same time, you're currently 10th in points. I was quite surprised how things went down. Were you surprised at all that they did not keep you on?
Not really.
Okay.
A lot of people kind of said that same things, like, dude, there's no reason they shouldn't keep you on. And from the very beginning, I was filling in for Dean, and all year they've had an issue with having enough parts for the new model of their bike. And so it kind of came down to that also. They let me know, I think it was after Southwick, that I think that was round 7, that after, yeah, so that was round 6 actually. And they said, hey, Malcolm and Dean are planning on coming back to race after the break. And so that was, like we had already discussed before, that was kind of my deal, was like, it's fully contingent on Dean and Malcolm's health. And so I'm like, okay, that's fine. And I mean, for me, it's like, yeah, thankfully it turned into 8 races, and then I ended up being top 10 in the championship, and which for me is big. I mean, I haven't finished a 450 series yet, and so I mean, I want to finish the year, whatever that looks like, but at the same time, like, that they have other obligations that they have to stick to. So yeah, I completely understand.
Yeah, you have a really good attitude about it. I think, with the way the Rocky Mountain deal went down, and then the fill-in ride at Husky and that going away with 4 to go, it'd be very easy for that to put you in a negative headspace. Yeah.
And honestly, that's where my faith plays a big part of it. Cause I mean, we're in scripture, we're taught that Christ never changes. And I think it's a perfect example that really whatever goes on around us, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I'm getting to race, I'm getting to meet new people, I'm getting to, I mean, there's still so many opportunities out there that it doesn't really matter where I'm at. It's like, I'm happy to be here, and I'm really thankful for it.
Yeah. So Shane, I kind of wanted to know what all factors went into the decision to join club. Was there other offers, or is it just kind of, the opportunity came at a time where you needed it, or just kind of talk about what other factors that you went through in making this decision?
There wasn't really many factors. We had, so one of my mentors, he had kind of started putting a chip in my ear, before my time at Husky was done. And he was like, dude, I really think you need to finish outdoors. Whatever that looks like. He's like, I'll help you. But I really think you need to think about that. And by the time Washougal was over, I was like, dude, I'm ready to get to work. I want to finish outdoors, and I want to finish strong. And so we literally went straight to work and had some bikes lined up. Chisholm was actually going to sell us his spare bike that he has on the Rock River Semi, and we pretty much had everything lined up except wired the money. And I talked to Brandon. This was on the Friday after Washougal. I had a flight Saturday morning to go to California, get on the Yamaha and start riding. And I talked to Brandon late Thursday night, and he had mentioned Phil got hurt. And so we kind of spoke more in detail on Friday, and it was like, okay, Brandon was like, yeah, I mean, we can definitely put something together. So I'm like, all right, well, let me figure out my other sponsors, and I will get back to you. And by the end of the day, Friday, my manager had spoken to some of my other sponsors, and we were able to move pretty quick, and they were really great about it. So instead of flying to California on Saturday, I drove to South Carolina on Sunday and started riding.
That's a really cool thing that I hear from our sport a lot with the sponsors, especially when it's a guy like yourself or a privateer and they get an opportunity. Most of the sponsors are really good about going, hey, we know this is a good deal for you, and they let you out of whatever obligation you might have had. They're pretty understanding.
Yeah. And that's kind of the deal is like, like my sponsors, that was really how I was making money to race outdoors, because I was just on a fill-in ride at Husky. So for me, it was like, okay, well, we have a little bit of income that we can put towards getting to the last 4 rounds. But my mentor, he was really stepping up, and he was ready to buy the bikes and stuff. And I was just going to be on stock bikes. But then, I mean, the way it worked out was like Club had a spot here, and it ended up working out perfect, because it was like, okay, well, we had already started doing a lot of work, but it was a quick transition to come here and get on the bike, and everything's done here at ClubMX. So I've had now 3 days on the bike, and we're about ready to go race.
Plenty time.
Yeah. Yep.
The first thing I thought of was like, well, the Yamaha would be good for him. Most of his success has come on a Yamaha. Did you find comfort in going back to that platform? And what do you think about being back on the Yamaha?
100%. Yeah, it was not a very hard decision, especially like you said, looking back throughout my career. And it's like, since I've turned or moved to the 450 class, it was like just struggling and getting hurt and just really getting beat down. And it's like, dude, I need to find some sort of familiarity and consistency here. And I mean, the Yamaha is making a good showing right now, and especially in stock form. So it's like, okay, well, we don't have much of an option here to go and be competitive with minimal time and minimal work. And so it honestly wasn't too hard of a decision, but it ended up working out pretty good with the club deal, because I'm not just on a stock bike anymore. Like,
right.
I've got some good parts. So it was definitely trying to figure out, okay, we need to put our best foot forward here, and this is what that step was.
But going from three different OEMs in one season, is that something that you struggle with at all, or are you pretty good at adjusting quickly?
I would say I've gotten pretty good at it. I mean, it's funny because since 2019, getting off KTMs, I went to Yamaha, then I went to Honda, and back to KTM, and Husqvarna,
right,
and now Yamaha. So it's I would say I could be a pretty good test rider and give feedback on a lot of different brands.
Yeah, maybe you come to work for Vital when you retire and do shootouts. Take Michael Lindsay's spot.
Yeah, honestly, I would say from bike to bike, it's an easy transition. Where it's really hard is that I would say that the next 10% of what it takes to race. That's honestly the hardest part. And,
right.
I mean, honestly, on the Husky, it took me 4 or 5 races before I actually felt like okay, I'm actually learning this bike. So getting on the Yamaha, it's been really familiar straight away. And it's like, okay, I can kind of look back at my notes and back when I was on the Yamaha before, and Brandon here at ClubMX, he's really smart with the bike, and just the kind of the experience that's here, it was super easy. It's like, okay, let's try this. And last week I only rode 2 days, and then I had quite a few days off to kind of sit down and think about, like, okay, we don't have a lot of time, but we need to make some big changes, and in what order do we make those changes? And yesterday, I only rode the turn track yesterday, but it was like, it's a pretty rough turn track, but we got a lot of those big changes out of the way yesterday on the turn track, to where today I rode the main track and actually did a day of training because I'd eliminated all those variables. So it's definitely a lot of work, and we definitely have some more to go, but I think with the time that we've had, we've honestly done really good with it. So I'm really excited about it.
You mentioned looking at your notes. Do you literally keep notes on the bikes you ride and setups and different things you change?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I go back and watch races on YouTube. I know quite a bit of stuff and watch quite a bit of stuff. I study all these different guys, and it's I mean, my wife jokes that we as racers, we can remember a single rock on a single track on a single lap, but we can't remember to I don't know, help our wives out around the house.
Yeah.
Or we can't remember other stuff. So
whatever she asks you to do today, you forget.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Sure. Yeah, that's typical. That's typical guy stuff right there.
Yeah.
Does this kind of turn into, is this purely a fill-in ride, or does this kind of turn into an opportunity for next year? I mean, one of our listeners mentioned that A-Mart's gone, so that kind of opens up some doors. Is you trying to turn this into an opportunity for next year, or is it purely just fill-in at this point?
That's a good question. Brandon and I spoke a little bit about that. We've been working on some stuff for World Supercross, and just some potential opportunities there, and just outdoors has been like front and center because it's obviously kind of going on right now. So, Brandon mentioned that Yamaha wants them to do a full-time 450 guy in-house for next year. And I told him, well, I'd definitely love to talk to you about that. But yeah, it's just kind of disregarded a little bit right now because of outdoors. But yeah, I mean, we'll definitely see. Right now, I'm taking over the new fill-in spot. And I'm kicking Nicoletti out. So I'm taking his name.
You better get rid of that black cloud that hangs over that position.
Nah, I'm not superstitious.
Okay, good. Yeah, right. You mentioned the World Supercross stuff. I'd heard rumors that you might be working on something with Rick Ware Racing. Are there no truth to that?
We have been working on stuff with him, and we also have been in discussions with other people, a couple other teams too. We've had our plate full.
Yeah, sounds like it. There's a lot of things going on in the industry right now with the announcement of the SuperMotocross series.
SuperMotocross.
Yeah. I was joking. That sounds like a video game from 1990. For Nintendo.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of cool things going on. I mean, a lot of different opportunities, things coming up. And, what are your overall thoughts on the World Supercross, what they're trying to do with that?
Honestly, I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
Kind of going back to when they first started doing the Triple Crowns. It's like, okay, now we're seeing a little bit of change. I mean, it's a lot of the stuff we do is so repetitive that little changes in what we do gets us riders super excited, because it's like, dude, we're we're doing something different. I know a lot of people have pushed to do Supercross only here in the States. Especially a lot of really good people, like later in their career, it's like, dude, I don't want to keep doing outdoors. And the OEMs are kind of looking for full-time guys. So it's I think it's definitely ruffling some feathers and stirring the pot a little bit, because I think the talk and everything is speaking for itself, and you kind of see the reactions of some people. So honestly, I'm pretty excited about it. I love opposition and going against the grain.
Yeah,
just because it keeps things exciting at times.
With the SuperMotocross thing, I guess the deal is there's 3 races later in the season. I think they're taking one away. It's only 2 more races, I believe, but 3 late in the season. And I was saying at the beginning of the show, like, as a fan, I want to see races all year long. But as somebody that's in the industry and becoming friends with some of you guys and seeing how it all works, I don't like it, because I think anybody that races the outdoor and Supercross season, they need that time. They need a week or 2 with their family, because you don't get that during the season. Like, what are your thoughts on them extending the length of the series?
Well, see, I think you nailed it on the head, because, I mean, just for myself and my wife and my family, it's like, dude, we've literally been moving here, moving there, doing this, doing that. It's like we literally don't get to do anything. It's like our whole life revolves around my racing. And Joy does a really good job she's in it 100%, but it's like, there's times where she wants to just go somewhere for a week. And I'm like, look, we can't plan that far ahead, because we don't know what's going on. And so I want to celebrate our anniversary. It's like, some of that stuff just doesn't, it sucks, because it takes away so much from life. And dude, Monster Cup, I love that race, but, well, I would say I've raced it twice. I loved racing it, but now it's like, dude, I love to watch it. I don't care to be out there, but I love watching it. And just like you, I love watching the racing, but it's like, there's already pushback on doing anything extra in our series, either of our series now. And it's like, okay, we're going to put on a couple extra, but we're going to throw in a lot of money. It's like, dude, where's all that money been for our other series, like the last 5 years or something? That's the part where it's like, dude, clearly this is the World Supercross has ruffled some feathers, and whether it's really been being worked on for 2 years or what, who knows? But it's I think something has to change, especially in the information age. Things have to change, and it's I think we're coming up on that really quick, and it'll be interesting to see really kind of what goes on.
Yeah, okay. They give you an extra week off in between Supercross, because right now I think there's only 1 weekend off maybe during Supercross. I can't, or maybe 2. But
one weekend during Supercross.
Okay, so let's say they give you another one. Well, a guy like yourself, a guy like Eli Tomac is not going to go, all right, well, that weekend we're going to go to the Bahamas. No, you're going to train, you're going to ride. Nothing changes.
So, you had kind of mentioned this is Phil's ride. Have you had much interaction with him? When I picture it, I just see him with like a stick in the sand, like, you're braking here, you need to brake here. I just kind of wanted to know if you had much interaction with him.
No, I actually haven't seen him. It's probably because he's walking around with a fat lip from pouting, because he's just so upset.
Yeah, poor guy.
No, I know he had a big hit, and just kind of physically and mentally with his arm and stuff. So he doesn't live at club anymore. I think he lives he lives somewhere around here. but I don't exactly know where that is. But yeah, he hasn't been out here, and I know when I first got here, he had just finished up surgery, so he was kind of recovering from that. But yeah, no, I haven't really got to talk to him yet. But we used to train here together. I mean, I would say we're pretty good friends.
That's cool. Last question I have for you is just I know your career's not over, and I don't mean to say that it is, but when you look back on it, just today, where it's at, like, how would you describe it in just a few words? Like, what does it mean to you?
A little bit bittersweet. I definitely took a lot of things for granted the first couple years. I would say 18, 19, and 20 were like, I was actually there and like all in and kind of like, you know what, this is really like starting to kind of understand the business and understand the training. And now I feel I've definitely had a couple down years, but I feel like I'm the strongest that I've ever been. And I've had time to grow. I've had time to study, and I've missed out on a lot of bike time, but that comes back with time. So, I'm excited about where we're at. And, I mean, that's what Joy and I, we pray all the time. Like, we don't know what God has in store for us, but we trust in him, and, we don't know what it looks like or where we're going, but we're content in that. So, yeah, I would like to think I can race for, another quite a few years, just like, I mean, Reed and Brayton and, I mean, some of the guys that I grew up watching and now have been able to race against. Mm-hmm. I would like to think I could be one of those guys, down the road, but we will see.
I actually do have one more question. We just wrapped up Loretta Lynn's. We have 4 national champions coming on tonight from Loretta's. You didn't win a championship that I'm aware of, but you got a bunch of seconds. You had some good races. Yep. What's your best memories of Loretta's?
Honestly, my best memories there were just being there with my family, and that was our vacation growing up. Is we would go. I mean, Minio's and Loretta's were the longer nationals, and we would kind of turn them into vacations. We would always go down on like Wednesday before Loretta's and hang out for a few days before the race started. And honestly, just like you get there and it's like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. I can't believe we're here. And then you're like super sad to leave, because you're like, dude, this has came and went now. And it's just so crazy how the time goes. And so it's, yeah, I would say just being there. Some of my best friends growing up, that was our hangout. It's like, oh dude, I get to go see my buddy I haven't seen in months and race against him and come off and go jump in the creek and ride around on golf carts. And it just, yeah, it was a good time.
That's great. Yeah, I'm glad you shared that with us. Well, Shane, congrats on the fill-in ride.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. It's a good spot.
Well, good for you. I look forward to seeing how it goes this weekend, and good luck at Unadilla.